Hi, my name is Michael Wong. I'm an Australian lawyer and a registered migration agent. So in this video, we're going to talk about the new rental law, which will be in effect on 29th of March 2021. It was supposed to start on the 1st of July 2020. However, because of the COVID-19, the effect date of this law becomes 29th of March 2021. What is going to be changed? We're going to talk about it now. So the first thing about the changes will be the terms we are going to use in the rental agreement. In the past, we use all those terms: tenants, landlord, and lease. It is quite an old English, to be honest. So we're going to change them to renter, rental provider, and rental agreement. So the law drafter hoped us to use the modern English in the lease or not in the rental agreement, so that everyone can understand, especially for those who came over from overseas. I'm now going to talk about the actual changes, some of the highlight before the agreement is signed, during the rental agreement, and after the rental agreement is expired. First of all is the minimum standards of the rental houses or the apartment or the properties. So there is minimum requirement for the landlord or for the rental provider to provide you in the houses, including the rubbish bin, heaters, which is got the 2-star rating energy efficient heater. If the rental provides you without the heater with the 2-star energy efficiency, you may be able to change it as an urgent repair, which you change it and the landlord has to pay you back. And the houses has to be checked by a licensed plumber, a licensed electrician, to make sure everything in the house is working fine, especially the electricity, the power, the plumbing solutions, or the pipes and all this stuff. The second thing is discrimination safeguard strengthened. What this means here, discrimination is not about the skin color tone or whatever you're from, whatever religion background. They are not tolerant in Australia. We are talking about like if a potential renter, maybe because they failed to pay rent in the past, so they got a very bad record among the real estate agent. Now, in the application form, they are not allowed to ask such questions. They are not allowed to ask for reference check. So I'm not sure how they're going to make sure to do the due diligence check about the renter. However, they are not allowed to ask those things. They are not allowed to refuse your application because of those things you breached the previous rental agreement. And rental bidding is banned at the moment. In the past, the landlord or the real estate agent might actually say that if you pay a little bit more than the advertised price or the rental, then you'll be easier to get the houses. Bang! It's not allowed, and they are not allowed to put a very confused price on the rental advertisement. So they have to have a fixed price on the advertisement, saying that 450 per week, 500 per week. They can't even say 500 plus per week, 450 plus per week. They can't even invite offer for the rental agreement. So during the rental agreement, the major changes will be the modification allowed. So in the past, if you would like to hang up a picture, got a hook onto the wall for this purpose, you have to get the consent from the landlord. Now, after the new law become in effect, you don't have to get the consent from landlord. However, you still have to make good. So you still have to repair it to the state at the commencement of the rental agreement, that you have to fix it before the expiry of the rental agreement. However, if those modifications will affect the structure of the property or it will affect the common area of the property, then you still have to get the consent from the landlord before the modification made. Then the urgent repairs, you're allowed up to $2,500 urgent repairs without the landlord consent. Remember this. And you'll be paid compensation for sales inspections. So landlord might at some times during the rental agreement saying that, I'm going to sell the property, so I'm going to bring someone here to inspect the property. For those purposes, the landlord has to pay you a minimum of $30 for compensation because the inspection is quite inconvenient. So you may ask more than that. However, I believe in the future, such compensation will be stipulated in the rental agreement that you might not be able to get more. So if you would like to get more compensation for the sales inspection, make sure you talk about the landlord during the negotiation of the rental agreement. So after the rental agreement, most people will be alarming because they worry that the bond will be deducted from the landlord or the real estate agent. In the past, the power will be on the landlord or the real estate agent because they are the one to apply to the RTBA, saying that yes, this tenant is allowed to get the bond released. But now the renter can apply to the RTBA saying that for the release of the bond, the landlord and the real estate agent will have 14 days to refuse the request valid reason. The last thing I would like to talk about is the pet. So a lot of people will have pet, have their dog, have their beloved cats in the property. So in the past, people will state, I got a pet on the application form. Landlord will usually refuse it most of the time. Or people will not declare they have a pet before the rental agreement in the application form, and then they bring a pet into the rental properties. However, now bringing pet into the rental properties without the consent of the landlord or the rental provider is prohibited. You will have to apply for a consent to the landlord or the rental provider. The landlord or the rental provider could not refuse the consent application without a valid reason. If they would like to refuse the consent application, they will have to apply to the VCAT to refuse the consent with the valid reason. So now the cost for a consent refusal will be higher for the rental provider. So go ahead, make sure you do the right thing, make sure you apply or fill out the form to apply for the consent to the landlord. That's all for today. That's all for what I want to say today. If you like this video, please give us a thumb up, share this video, subscribe our channel, and hit the reminder bell so the next time we can remind you we've got new videos. Thanks a lot. See you next time.